The glow of the cafe's dim lights bounced off the raindrops pattering on the window pane. Amal sat quietly in the corner, a steaming mug of coffee clasped tightly in her trembling hands. Outside, the world rushed by in its usual blur. Cars honking, strangers walking briskly under umbrellas, faces lit by phone screens. It was ironic, she thought, how the world never stopped moving, even for someone who had been still for far too long. Amal was always the silent one, the listener, the one who bore endless complaints, absorbed pain she never created, and wore her patience like a second skin. For years, she was the pillar, the quiet strength. When her coworkers messed up, she stepped in, fixed things quietly, and let the credit go unnoticed. No one ever asked how she managed. No one wondered how much weight she silently carried. But over time, Amal's patience, so resilient, so tested, began to thin. That night at the cafe, it had finally run out. Her coworker's scathing email, her mother's dismissive tone on the phone, her friend's urgent message pleading for help. It was too much. The dam broke. As the storm of emotions erupted that day, Amal raised her voice for the first time in a long time. Her calm, practiced demeanor cracked. Her hands trembled as she let out the words she had held in for years. Pain, frustration, exhaustion, loud enough to echo. Loud enough that for the first time people saw her. And all at once they labeled her overdramatic, angry, ungrateful. Amal laughed bitterly to herself. The irony wasn't lost on her. No one had noticed her quiet endurance through years of self-sacrifice. But now, in her rawest, most vulnerable moment, suddenly everyone had an opinion. She leaned back in her chair, eyes fixed on her reflection in the rainy window. The tears on her face shimmered like silver streaks. For the first time, she wasn't just feeling the burden, she was letting herself feel free. Maybe, she whispered, her voice faint against the buzz of the cafe, maybe it's not my responsibility to be unseen anymore. Maybe it's time for the world to carry its own weight.